right here at TGI's Fridays, 4000 City Ave. We do this every fourth Saturday at 12:30 p.m. And I am Shelly Williams, single, never been married, no children.
Well, I'm going to just get to it because I need to get to this episode. I am Danielle. All of this right here, Sassy Sweet Buns Patterson. And I just really need to get back on to our guest because this is fascinating to me.
I'm David Scott, and I thought I was Mr. Goodnight, but our host, our guest
no.
today,
Oh,
he has to be Mr. Goodnight.
No, that ain't Mr. Goodnight. That's Mr. Good Morning, apparently.
Good morning, good night, good
afternoon. Seriously.
So, hey.
And I'm Dr. David Pulley, owner of Diamonds in the Rough, a doctor of psychology and clinical psychology, and also known as the relationship doctor. But I want to take this time out to give props to our guest, who has taken a lot of questions from last week and last episode, and he's doing very well in handling himself under fire, under pressure. He's showing that he has confidence.
He got 8 kids.
So all
he
of
better
that,
be able
all
to
of
take
that is
cars.
something
He
to
got
take,
to handle a whole
he's got that father
unit.
presence. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to give him props.
He
for
giving
that.
them props because we just ain't wait. We on the fire line. What we talking about? If you missed this last week, we're talking to Christopher Barrios. You can check him out on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram.
And then you can too become one of his PCS.
Oh yeah. Anyway, he is the father of 8 children, and with the youngest being 3 years old. And we're talking about this topic. We're going to talk about: would you date someone who has multiple kids?
Actually, I really think that we can get a new sponsorship based on this. I really, this came to me. Chris, I am going to contact the Trojan people and the lifestyle people. I really think that we can, I really do think so. I think that would be a great promotion. I think so. And then you can get even more PCS chicks.
That'd be a nice check.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to help you out, and get a commission.
We can get that. So we're going to
However, I'm more about education as opposed to exploitation.
We're going to educate some people. We want to find out from the women and the men, what's your cutoff for dating someone with children? I said I was dating someone with 7 children.
Well, what was your cutoff before a dude with 7 kids?
I was one of those people who not date. My first question out my mouth was, "Do you have kids?" So then I met someone who actually didn't tell me they had kids, and then once I got involved, and when I say involved, I mean involved. Anyway,
so once you got the magic stick,
there you go.
Then he did it twice. That's what happened.
Wait a minute. First he said I got 4, then he went to 5, but then we actually.
Was he telling you this? Was this like the "I love you" while he inside you? Like he was telling you, no, I really got 7 kids.
That wasn't inside. It was like kind of afterwards, the afterthought. Like
you didn't really understand what he was saying when it sounded like Charlie Brown, like wah.
Yeah. It's like I've got 4 kids, and then down the line he said he had 5. But anyway, we ended up getting engaged, living together, and I actually had a chance to be with his children who lived in the house, which was 3 of them, and I loved it. Like it was like one of the most amazing things ever. Raising his kids because they were so decent. They were like the most decent little kids ever. They loved me to death. Because they loved me so much. They was my shadows, and I was like young, so it was like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. I'm gonna take you to my parties. I had teen parties, so I took them to my teen parties. I know that's probably not a good thing, but anyway, they weren't mine, so it don't matter.
That's right.
My kids, my physical
kids would not worry about that. That's
my
right.
kids would not be in that party because I know what was going on. But anyway, so I loved it, and so that's why it opened my mind up to kids. So, but he was very inclusive. Like, he didn't say, I'm going to handle this with my baby mama over here. He was very inclusive. This is what's going on. This is how it's going on. It involved me in everything. Now, speed it up to today, when I met the guy who had 7 kids, he's a friend of David, so I'm not going to put him out there like that too hard. But he's a friend of David, so I'm like, all right, he's a good guy. But when he said 7 kids, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, God, really, this is not what I asked for, but I'm not really concerned with the 7 kids. What I'm concerned about, the problem is he's not inclusive. I am really tired of being on the outside of his life. And I'm single, no kids, never been married. My life I can do whatever I want. And you leave me alone too long.
You gonna do something else.
Listen, you leave me alone too long on my own where it's like I'm not included. I ain't never even met the man's mom. So
really?
I'm having an issue. It's like I'm not included. I was a secret from his children for at least a good 7-8 months. And I'm not even sure now today they know who I am. I think they just think I'm Shelly Shell, because that's all I get. You know who that is? That's Shelly Shell on the TV, So it's not like, I'm not really sure whether I'm just Shelly or Shelly Shell. That's that cool girl from TV.
I think you might actually need to have a session with Dr. Pulley. That's all I'm going to say. Because That's like a little bit extra. Because now you need to just start thinking about your own value, regardless of all the stuff that we talking about on the show. You need to think about your own value and whether or not. No, you need to think about your own value.
Because he has kids doesn't mean
just because he's a good man does not mean he's the man for you. You need to think about your own value. Because if you're trying to be in a relationship with this man, that means you need to be in a relationship with his kids. And at 7 months to a year and you ain't met mama.
It's past a year.
Okay, so it's
a year, almost going a year and a half.
You better than me.
But that's the problem. I like to be included in things, and I feel like I'm just so excluded from his life. Like if he have a birthday party for a kid, I'm not invited to the birthday party for the kid. I'm like, oh, I get a text. I'm at the birthday party for the kid.
Oh, well, see, you can invite me. I ain't coming anyway. But I want to be invited.
But I'm not even invited to the party. So that is starting to wear on me. Other than that, 7 kids to me, I love kids. I mean, when I say I really enjoyed raising somebody's kids because I don't have my own, I really enjoyed it. I do. Kids are just cool. That's who I am.
I ain't got maternal instinct.
In my mind, I'm forever 21, so that's me.
But when you hear that number 7, what was the first thing came to your mind?
Hell no. For real.
How'd you get over it?
How did I get over it? Because I looked at the kid's age. The first one is 25, and then the youngest is 10. So it's not like they're gonna, forever. But then what I thought about it is we don't all raise our kids the same way. So are your kids gonna be in the house forever and a day? Because some people have kids and their kids live with them forever. So that's now forever. So that's my problem now. I'm starting to think, okay, are your kids gonna be here forever? Because you know how many kids? I know I live with my mom forever, and I ain't want to leave. So how many kids stay with? Anybody in the audience want to talk? Because I talk today. I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm sorry. I know. I said, man. She looking at me
we need to talk.
She looking at me like she gonna scold me, and I feel like I'm about to.
How you doing, Shelly?
Get an interrogation.
My name is Mike, and to make it quite simple for your situation, it sounds like when it boils down to it, he blows your back out at the perfect time.
No, I don't. No, it's
That's
not
what it
even
sounds
about
like.
That. It's not
I'm sorry, I'm at the party, but I'll be home by 9.
No, it's not about sex. I ain't gonna say I'm a Christian, not that I don't have sex, but my whole goal in life, honestly, is I want somebody who lives for God more. So it may sound crazy, but I want you to live for God more than you live for me. So I don't want sex. I don't want sex. I just want a man who just stands up for the Lord every day of the week that says, so that's all I'm looking for. And he was on that path of Jesus and we're going to live for God, that kind of thing. That's what I want, a man who's willing to wait for me, and he's willing to wait,
Well, I guess because y'all got all this other stuff going on. That's not waiting.
Well, wait a minute,
that's being preoccupied.
Is he willing to wait, or is he waiting on, is he getting it from the baby mama?
I'm gonna just, before we throw it out to the audience, I'm gonna just tell you.
He might be getting it from the baby mama.
Well, no, I'm gonna just, and see, that's exactly where I was going with it.
Do I think
you ask about how we feel about dating people with kids. And that becomes that issue. Because some of the reason that you're so concerned that he's out there doing whatever else is that he's with the kids and you're not included is also because there's a trust issue and there's an understanding issue. You're having a serious communication issue. So Dr. David would tell us that, this ain't your soulmate.
Would you tell me that, Dr. David?
Well, what I would say is that, most likely if you're not being included and the sex isn't, and that was more so from you because you're looking for a certain level of a relationship, certain level of true intimacy, then yeah. I mean, he's got how many baby moms? So he has 7 kids,
has two
baby moms, but 2 is enough. That that when the going gets tough, he might be. I'm not saying it necessarily is, but keep it. It's a possibility. And with that possibility, that might be a part of the inclusionary piece.
That's why I'm excluded, because he with the baby mama?
I think that there needs to be maybe more communication around the parameters of the relationship and where you both see it going. I mean, I think that a year and a half is enough time to say, okay, I don't feel included. What are the reasons? This is what I think is going on. This is what possibly could be. Just be honest with. It just needs to be that open communication about that.
I mentioned it. His whole response is, "I'm working on it. I'm not as open because of his life. I'm just not as open." So I'll let people work on it because I'm not in a rush to get there.
But that's kind of like that thing we say. Oh well, he has potential, and then the rest of that is, when is he going to realize the potential? Same thing. He's working on it. When he going to finish working?
And I posted a quote on our Single on Saturday Night page that says, "I didn't lie to you. I just told you when I figured it out." Maybe he's just going to tell you once he figured it out,
and
which is not fair to you.
That long? Or you want, I don't know, but you know what? I can talk to you anytime, but the audience might want to say
You know what,
something.
too, looking at your situation, too, you need to think about, do he take you serious? Because first of all, if you're not meeting the mom, you're not meeting the kids, that's an issue. And also, too, I mean, sometimes women, not saying that you are, get caught up in the sex and you forget the things that you really, really want. And the way I look at relationships, in terms of relationships, I look at assets and the liability. And the man with more than 3 kids, to me, in my opinion, is a liability.
Why?
Because
why'd you get to that number?
First of all,
Wait, we're going to go to a break and you're going to tell us why.
3 was the number.
After 3 the number. We're going to come back. We're going to a break. Single on a Saturday night, TGI Fridays, 4,000 today. Boom, boom. Boom. Hey everybody, it's Single on a Saturday night and we have your Modus makeup tip of the day. We know you're single, you're out there, you want to look great everywhere you go. So we have tips. So when you're home and you want to put on makeup, we're going to show you how to do it in the best ways. And guess who's going to do it? It's Ginger, who is the representative and CEO of her own company, but she's working with
Motives for Lala and Motives Cosmetics.
Motives for Lala. You know Lala, Carmela Anthony's wife, you know. So you see her, she looks good. So I want to get a little bit of that glimmer and shine on me. So tell me how to really do this, Ginger. Like, this is the tip of the week.
Okay. Well, today we're working with brown, and I told Shelly that we were going to do the tip on making any color look good on anyone. So with neutral tones, it's easy because they're neutral and anybody can wear them generally. But the key is to have them show up. So with brown, we want browns that match your undertone. And your undertone is something that happens under your skin. A lot of people don't understand why certain colors don't show up. So with the browns, if you have a little bit of a blue undertone, you're gonna look better with a pinky brown or a brown with blue in it. If you have kind of a peachy undertone, you're gonna look better with a redder brown. So today with Shelly, I'm going to use a palette that has a lot of brown, a lot of neutrals in it, and a lot of pink. Shelly is a little bit warmer, so we're gonna use warmer browns with Shelly so that they'll show up, and they'll show up on camera.
Are you saying when I have a brown on, I should always try to match my brown with something that matches with a warmer tone? Because, you know, some people might have a brown on and put some blue on. Is that like a no-no or?
It's not a no-no. A lot of people don't realize that they can match whatever they're wearing, whatever color they're wearing. It just depends on their undertone.
Stay tuned to Single on a Saturday Night, where we give you the best Motives by Lala makeup tips right here. Single on a Saturday Night. Stay tuned.
how's Jewel doing? If my daughter having problems in school, he helps me out. Now, as far as me, I carry a bachelor's degree, a master's degree in business administration and human resources management. I work in recruiting, meaning HR, recruiting for healthcare professionals. I'm very good at what I do. I have an active socialite, very positive, and don't have no drama. So with all the things I bring, I need that person to bring into my life as well. I need somebody that could compliment me, and if we decide to be together, we're going to grow together as a team, and we're going to make things happen. And another thing I want to do is venture into real estate. So whoever I deal with, they got to be about getting that money. Number one, let's get that money. Number two, let's have that strong bond. Number three, have that strong commitment with our families, because I'm very much about my family, and that's the way I am. Not to cut you off, but if that's what you bring to the table, then you would be a perfect candidate for an event that we're having that's coming up. I just like to use that as a segue. Just to briefly introduce myself, my name is Charles. I'm here with some of my business partners and associates. Not to talk about myself too much, but to give you an idea, I have a restaurant. It's called Big Mouth Grill. It's on 3901 Market Street. I also have a printing company. All the people that I hang with are either business owners or they're very highly associated or gainfully employed. The event that we're having is on February the 14th, which everybody knows, that's Valentine's Day. It's at Gloss. It is located at Hunting Park, Broad and Hunting Park. And the reason why we're having this event is not just to throw any party.
what it is to bring people like yourself who are, well educated, well groomed, very nice in chocolate, some, not so chocolate, but but to bring good people together, because a lot of times you have, people who are looking for something, they can't find it. So one of the things that we're going to do at the event is called a traffic light party. What we do is we give out wristbands. So if you're single, you get a green wristband. If you're complicated, like I think Ms. Danielle said she was, you get.
No, I said I'm not complicated at all because I totally understand my situation.
Miss Danielle got requirements, sweetie. She's not complicated. Okay. She has requirements. She know what she wants, and she refused to settle. So no, she don't want a liability. See, sorry, Christopher.
And you know what? Wait. But I don't feel like that whole asset thing, liability. I believe that. Believe me. I have a degree. I have a house.
Well, you know what, Shelly? I really think that anybody at this stage in life, they've come down to their balance sheet. I think that at this stage in life, once you get past your mid-20s, I think that we've started to assess. The problem is that we get caught up in other things, that we meet people that we think have potential, or we start to settle because it ain't much out here.
Okay,
but wait, let me this event. I don't think that I have everything that you're saying. Believe me, I believe me. I have a good job and all that good stuff. I do.
I don't know. Well, you're sitting here next to me, so there you
That's
go.
right. I am in the presence, but I don't believe that everything is about money. I don't believe everything is about that.
Oh, I don't think assets and liabilities is about money.
I believe everybody deserves a second chance. I believe everybody deserves something. Chris is a great dude. I don't know you as well as, that well, but you're a good dude. I don't want to be with somebody with 8 kids, and I look at people's heart, not necessarily your wallet and all that. I look at your heart, and if your heart is pure and your heart says, I love you, or your heart says you're good people, it doesn't matter what you have because I got it.
Well, Shelly.
But Shelly, that sounds good and all, but also, too, when you're dealing with somebody that got a good heart, but you also got to look at, too, are they going to be deducted from what you have? Is it worth that?
I will never be in need ever because my God said he would do so. I don't feel like I'm going to be in need.
Well, Shelly,
that person that you may end up with 7 kids or 5 might be in need, and guess what? It'll be deducting from what you have and what you built for yourself. I'm going to tell you something. I am my mother's rose, and I refuse to settle. I would rather be by myself than deal with somebody
for everybody
with a whole bunch
who refuses to settle, you want to come to this event.
Hello.
Again, it is on
February 14th.
It is on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. There will be a whole lot of people.
What time it start?
It starts at 10 o'clock. It's from
Baby,
10 o'clock.
I'll be there.
Okay.
We had somebody in the back that needs to
not to mention Shelly is hosting the event, so that's one of the main reasons that you should come out.
I am a fabulous host. So
and Fred Green. I'm sorry.
I think
Fred
so.
Green's hosting it as well.
I think so.
So I expect to see.
I'm wearing a whole green dress,
expect to see the whole audience. I expect to see the whole audience at the event. If you're a person that doesn't like to compromise, you don't want to settle, then we're bringing out people from Baltimore. Shelly, it's not about. Shelly, it has nothing to do with the money. I didn't know. I didn't say anything.
You know what? This is the thing.
I didn't say anything about money.
It's about
what you want.
So well, is that I have never, ever told you about a dude, and he got this, and he got that, and you ain't never heard that come out of my mouth. I could care less. I really could. Because I feel like you. I mean, I've been sustaining all this right here and a couple of other people for a long time. Okay, so I'm fine with that. Financially, as long as you ain't coming in here and you think that I'm getting ready to totally take care of you, and that's my issue. And like I said, I was dating a dude with the kids. That was not a problem. The issue was about the communication, then somebody else come between our relationship. That means that you are not in a good place. So to me, that was settling because I was settling for somebody who was not in a good place and to be ready to handle all of this right here. So we're going to come back and talk to that as soon as we come back single on Saturday night.
Looking for a nutritious and delicious meal on a budget? Well, look no further. I'm Durwood Selby, chef and host of the Selby Signature. You may have seen me out on the streets of Philadelphia getting the culinary pulse of the people. I'm trying to find out what you guys are eating and cooking. If you have not seen me there, then be sure and join me on Philly Cam, channel 66, on Saturdays at 6 p.m. or Verizon, channels 29 and 30. I look forward to feeding you.
Yes, I'm over here.
Sing on a Saturday night TGI Fridays. We're back. Go right to the question. Go ahead.
Sir, I feel for you. I got one son. He's autistic. He has like 3 kids, so I couldn't imagine what it's like for you. My question is, my dad has 10 kids. I'm the youngest. There are some kids that, they're mad at him. They don't think he showed them enough attention. Do you have that trouble with your kids? Like, they they go off. They don't they don't think you spend enough time. They don't think that you're not with them enough. Is that a problem for you or anything like that?
That's an excellent question. And my youngest son is autistic as well. Okay, that's an excellent question. My youngest son is autistic as well. It's been an interesting challenge.
How old is he?
He's 3.
Okay.
Being that my children are kind of spread out, there have been times where I've had to address issues with them feeling that I haven't spent a lot of time with them. There's been a couple trips to family court to reinforce that fact. Just simply to let people know that, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to my children. Now, if I got to take a bus, a train, or a bus and a train to do it, I'll do it.
What about, like, it was just Christmas?
That's a very good question, and I'll be very honest. And thing about me particularly is a certain level of transparency is necessary across the board with everybody. That way, if people feel, you know what, I can't do with a guy with 8 kids, that's great. At least you're honest and respectful enough to put that out there from the jump. With that said, my resources are what they are. So I'm not going to have money to go bananas at the toy store and bring Xboxes and this toy, that toy, or this toy, or this thing or that thing. I make sure that I can do what I can to handle their necessities. I made it a point to make a conscious decision to give my children experiences, to teach them how to conduct themselves out in public, to be at a restaurant, or how to go somewhere and do this, how to be able to exist and function in the real world, because I didn't have a father to teach me any of that.
Right. Well,
I'm never going to have the money to lavish this, that, and the other, and that was actually a concern that my children had brought to me. They felt like I would buy them this or buy them that. They don't want me to buy them things. They want their dad.
They want their time.
And when the time is allowed, like even now, more often than not, any social things I find myself doing, I find them on days during the week that I have time for myself, and on the weekends, other than on a Saturday night like today, I'm out with them doing this, doing that. If it's 1-on, 2 or 3, I do whatever I can, but without a doubt, until I'm 6 feet in the ground, I'm always going to be their father. I'm always going to put the effort first, and that comes before dating anyone, period.
We have a question?
Okay, good afternoon. I actually have a couple of questions. One of my questions is, with you having so many children, do they all know each other?
Yes.
Awesome.
If there's any one thing I have to make sure that's an imperative that happens is that they know each other.
Okay, awesome. My other question is, with your wide range of ages between your children, do you ever take their opinions, advice, statements about the women that you're dating? And at what point do you bring the women that you're dating around your children? Is there a time frame? After 3 months, 6 months? Like, because I don't know if you just hit it and quit it, or if you take the time to actually get to know them and think that, okay, this is a possibility. Maybe I should bring my children around and see what they think about. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Those are excellent questions. As far as what type of time frame I have to bring them around with children, it does determine, one, if I'm going to be in an actual relationship with somebody. There's been plenty of times, especially if I'm dating someone who has children, where a play date might be a better option for interaction. That way I can gauge my children's reaction to a woman that I'm dealing with, because sometimes they can clue you into things that you may not necessarily see right away. Just in how people handle themselves in that arena. And as far as especially my older children, they definitely are very outspoken and articulate enough to give me some positive feedback, or if they feel I'm dealing with somebody that's a waste of my time or that isn't looking out for me, they have no problem expressing that to me.
How long did you wait? How soon do you introduce the children?
Honestly, it varies, because I haven't been in that many relationships in which the instance for me to bring my kids around them would be in that scenario. If anything, a lot of things I do that are part of my social life tend to be group events or events out in public with people. So I'm going to be at this event, meet me there. And that way I kind of see how they interact in a social setting. And if there's a potential for a relationship, my kids will let me know if they're not uncomfortable around somebody, and I can go from there. And there's been plenty of times where it's just been me and them. And at some point when the right time presented itself, I will make it happen.
Is there anything that you're currently searching for or in need of at this point in your life when it involves a woman?
At this point in my life, honestly, 2013 was a really tough year for me. I started off in a relationship with someone who had no children. We literally tried to do the family thing. We're in the house together, and there was so many different mitigating factors that just all fell completely apart. And I had to make a decision to not put myself or my children in such a tumultuous type of situation. This year, now, today, moving forward, I'm still working on some things that are absolutely essential for me to make sure that I manage my responsibility with my children properly. If I meet someone that is truly worthy of me giving up being single, me having 8 children doesn't disqualify me for that.
We had a question in the back.
Actually, it wasn't really a question. I just wanted to commend the young lady sitting next to him for all the camera time and being patient. Because the camera's been flat. My man here, his name is Chris. You've been holding it down for a long time, man, and she was patient right next to you. So that's all I wanted to say.
I wanted to ask Dr. Pulley, do you think it's realistic, like Danielle said, my father wasn't around, and I wanted to make sure kids and dads and people be around. Is it realistic to really get into serious relationships when you have all these kids? Because then you're dividing yourself amongst all these people. Maybe you should just chill for a little while and just deal with your children. Is it realistic to really be in a relationship or try to move towards a marriage relationship when you have all these responsibilities, all these personalities, all these, I mean.
That's a very good question. As Chris, I'm sure, already knows from experience, you know, it depends on your priorities. Now, he's already admitted that he didn't always have his priorities in check. He wasn't always in the right frame of mind. He already stated that. So in order to really be, you know, divide yourself that much, one, you have to have your priorities together. You have to be organized. You have to know what you want. You have to have women who understand. You have to have good. There's a lot of things that have to be in place in order for that to work out. So is it possible? Yes. Is it, how realistic is it? That does decrease, because having all of those factors all working together at the same time in this life or in any life is very low in terms of probability, but it is possible. And if you can manage your time well, and if you can keep your relationships as good and clean as possible with a lot of communication, with a lot of transparency, which is definitely needed,
transparency,
then it's possible.
Well, this is the end of the show. Wow, it's been a great show. And
I just want to say, just in closing, and I think that Chris might be ready now. It may have taken them to 8 kids, but based on the fact that he came here and he brought his business all out and he was just open and honest about it, and you've talked about, you know, those things that you want to give your kids and where they are as a priority in your life. Again, like I told you, I'm really into the daddies. So I just applaud you, even though I really gave you stuff.
All right, now that we all know him, what woman would date a man with 8 kids or 7? I mean, really, please go around this room. Would you date somebody that has 8 kids? Now that you heard him, you know him, would you do it?
No. Would I date a man or would I date Chris? Them 2 different things. Because you never know.
Either one. Would you do it? Anybody in here, would you do it? No one would do it. That's crazy. Would you do it, Michelle?
Yes.
There you go. We got one.
Now that's the end of the show. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why?
Well,
Hold your head up when you say it.
I'm trying to think.
Is it a possibility he might be a good leg?
It definitely would not be about the sex. It would be about the person's heart and what they bring to the table. And are they driven? Do they have goals? And all the career stuff that we were all talking about, that has to be in place as well. But I think there's a possibility there. I think I would have to look at it.
Would you want to take him home to your mama? See, I would recognize that would be the biggest issue. Because my mama would be, did you fall and bump your head? What is wrong with you? I raised you better than that.
I would have to look at all different factors. I can't really. I say yes only because I would actually consider it.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, that's good. Most people say, I didn't bump my head. No, I'm just kidding. It's a single on a Saturday night. I didn't.
I think your head still bumped all this. He ain't introduced you to the mama.
Now, that's the issue. Yeah, but there you go.
I think you might be unconscious.
No, I don't know what it is. I just feel like he has a good heart and he's good people, and that's pretty much it.
I don't know. This has been a fascinating topic. Y'all should write in if you got some more for us. Don't forget to hit us up on SingleOnSaturdayNightTV.com.
Don't forget to go to the party February 14th at 10 o'clock at Broadway.
If you're looking for an event that had with people with no kids, or if you want somebody with 8 kids, it's going to be there. Anything that you want and everything that you want will be there.
I think you need to put bands on them. You need to put baby mama bands out there.
No, we're not writing the number of kids on the band. We ain't doing none of that.
All right, sing on Saturday night. You can make it go off like that. You can just go off with the conversation.